software, are you testing? Are you a software tester, or you are interested in getting into software testing, right? So you can just do that while we move along and get started with today's workshop. Once again, welcome everyone to this workshop organized by the Bug Detective, Asel, and She Code Africa. So let's get started. So Biola, let me give Abiola was just going to introduce herself too, because yes, I think that's so needed.
All right. Thank you very much, Bami. Thank you. And hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm actually happy we are here, and I hope that, everyone gets to learn a thing or two at the end of this session, hopefully. I'm very sure of that. So, like Bami already rightly said, the Bug Detective, yeah? So just give me a minute. I don't know what's giving this Mark Oliver, but anyways, that's fine. So about the Bug Detective, the Bug Detective, we are a software testing company, so we render software testing services for for product-led companies. So if you have a product, a software product, hardware product that you would like to be tested, we render that services. But the major part of the arm that is actually organizing this program is our community arm. So we are not just a software testing company. We are actually also a community-driven company. So we have a community of software testers that learn together, share ideas, grow together, collaborate, and also gain insight about a lot of things around software testing, tech, and all of that. So in summary, that's the Bug Detective. So a number of you, I can see that some of you said that you actually got to hear about this program from the Bug Detective page, and I'm happy to say that. So the community, we have like presence on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and all. So aside all of the things that we do, share ideas and communicate with other people and all, we also help other people become better testers in their field. Yeah. So in summary, that's what we do. So that's about us. So Bami said I have to introduce myself, which is, well, I didn't plan to do that, but my name is Abiola Razak. I would like to say I'm no longer just a software tester. I would like to say that I've moved beyond being a software tester to being even a software test advocate and being someone passionate about quality in general. So I actually started the Bug Detective in 2021, and we've actually grown from then to where we are now. So yeah, that's me. So I think the next page is going to be this. So while we are at it, I would like everyone to follow the Bug. So if you haven't, I think this is the best time for you to pull out your phones and follow the Bug Detective on Instagram. Then on Twitter, we have a defective name, so it has a bug in it. So when you want to type the Bug Detective, the detective is without the E, like if you can see from the screen. So please take note of that. And you can also connect with us on LinkedIn, the Bug Detective, and you can send us a mail if you have any question, if you have any clarification, or if you want to join anything that we are doing at info@bugdetective.co. So I'll just leave this for about 1 more minute. So we need to start. Emilia is also on the call. Emilia is our program lead. I'm sure Emilia is going to be checking our page to make sure that people are actually following, like we said. So we need you guys to also do that for us. Follow us on our social media platform. So I'm going to leave that for some minutes. All right. Few seconds more. Waiting, patiently waiting. Patiently waiting. All right, few seconds more, and we move on to the next part of today. because we don't want to waste anyone's time. We want to make sure that today is as impactful as it should be. And yeah. All right, so let's hope that you guys have done the needful and you're already following our page, both on Instagram, on Twitter, and LinkedIn. Yes, so we move to the next part. So now let's talk about software testing, right? I mean, that's why everyone is here. I would love to believe. I mean, everyone is here. They want to know what software testing is about. And from the poll, I think it's time for me to just share the poll result so that we can see. Just give me a minute. Okay, so we have about 77 people out of 80 who have taken the poll already. So I'll just share. Okay, share results. All right, can everyone see the poll? So we actually have a number of people from Nigeria. We have people from Kenya, from Ghana, from Uganda, from other African states. We have people who got to know about this program from social media, from a friend, from TVD. A lot of people got to know about this program from She Code Africa. So shout out to She Code Africa. Thank you very much. Then questions around, are you new to software testing? A lot of people are new to software testing. 12% are testers, and other people, 13%, are not testers but are knowledgeable about the field. And we have 96% female. Yeah. All right, so that's the result of the poll. And yeah, I think I'll just stop sharing the poll while we go back to our slide. All right, so let's talk about software testing, right? What is software testing? I know a lot of people are really eager to know. I mean, maybe you've heard about software testing before, but you're not really sure what it is. And maybe you've actually used an application before and you've gotten frustrated along the way. Maybe you used an application and you're wondering, I'm trying to use this, I'm pressing go, I'm hitting send, it's not sending, I'm trying to make a transaction, this button is not working, I'm trying to use a particular app, the user experience is terrible. Maybe you've experienced all of that. So I'm going to bring to your knowledge what software testing is really all about. And maybe you've actually had some things about software testing that are not so true. This is going to be an opportunity for me to kind of debunk a lot of myth about software testing also. So to just go into it, I would try to, you guys can see what my slide says already. It says it's the process of evaluating software to make sure it meets the required standard and works correctly. But you can already see this, but let me bring it down to even a layman language. Let me try to explain it to you in the way that you can easily pick it up. So now, software testing doesn't just involve catching bugs, like so many people must have heard. Okay, when they say software tester, you're thinking about someone who checks application for bugs. But checking application for bugs is one of the roles or duties or responsibilities of a software tester. However, it does not accumulate the totality of what a software tester does. A software tester is not just interested or involved. You're not just here to come and be a bug hunter. You're more than that. A software tester is involved in the overall quality of the product. So when you're talking about the product, we're not just saying, we build an app, we built Instagram app, and we just want to make sure that it works. Fine, it works perfectly. But there's a lot of things that goes on to get to that point where a product works. There's from the process of, we are thinking about the products, the initiation process. The tester is involved in that place. This is what we are thinking about. And the tester can literally say, no, this is actually not going to be the best route to go for the user experience. Let's go through it this way. Even when if you've actually heard about UI UX designs, when the UI UX person is done with their design, the tester would also check the designs and say, a screen is missing here. So when I click on, maybe I make a transaction, I click on proceed, I want to see a success screen. I want to see a successful page. Perhaps when the person built it, you just say, you just got this notification, transaction successful, and that is all. the tester can say, oh, a screen is missing here. You've not built a design that actually shows that you sent XYZ amount to XYZ person. So the tester also makes sure that the screens, the design of the UI UX person is detailed enough to actually meet the expectations of the users. Same thing for front end development. You've actually heard about, I know a lot of people have heard about front end development, back end development. So the tester actually tests. Oh, I'm too fast in my explanation. Apologies. I'll take it back. I'll take it down. Thank you very much for that. I'll take it back again. So let me take it this way. So now we have a backend. I don't know if everyone is familiar with software development process. So I'll just take it slowly. So software development process, we have like a product manager, right? Then we have like, let's say stakeholders. Let's call them the people that own the company. So you have people who own the company. Then you have the product manager, then you have the backend developer, you have the front-end developer, you have the UI UX person, and you have let's say you have the database admin, and you also have the DevOps engineer. So for people that don't really understand what I'm saying, the DevOps engineer is in charge of the servers, deployment, and all of that. Deployment is like how we push the application to the user. So how the application gets to you. You know, when they are building the application, it's a different thing from when you actually get to that point that users can see the application. I can be building an application on my laptop, but you who are going to use it at the end of the day would not be able to see it until I've deployed it live for you to get it. So that's what the DevOps person does. But let's just take that out of the box for now. So now a tester, who I explained that is not just checking out for bugs alone, but also ensuring that the totality of the application is defect-free, is of high quality. So the tester is involved in, okay, we want to build Zoom application. And when we say we want to build Zoom application, and someone is saying that, oh, let's build Zoom application in a way that it only works on mobile phones, the tester can come on to say, oh, let's think about it. The users, when they're having like meetings like this, will all of them, the presenters, will they all be using their phones, or some people will use laptops, some people use these? Can we make it available on every platform so it's easy for them to use? Questions like that. So the tester is also involved in what happens to the user experience. How does the user perceive the application that is being used? That is one. Then I also said that front-end engineers kind of bring the code that the backend, the developers have written, and kind of merge it together with the designs and give you that application that you can use on your phone. So someone is writing codes, but you as a user, you're not interested in the code. I mean, if I build an Instagram app, you don't want to see the codes that make Instagram work. All you want to see is that smooth like button, people's image, and all of that. So there are people that make all of that sit well. So now all of these people make that sit well, but the tester is a very important person in this situation. The tester makes sure that, yes, everything sits well, but does it sit well the way the users would love it? Do you know, for instance, that Instagram, for instance, actually employ not just testers, but even psychologists? And you ask, why did they go that far? Because they want to understand how users think, how users perceive the application. Well, why would a user do this? Why would a user do that? Now, the tester's work is not just around, oh, is there a bug here? Is there an application can be functional, but not meet users' expectation. Imagine if you can actually you can actually share, you can make comments and all on people's image and all on Instagram, but Instagram is not as colorful, as quality as it is. The experience will be different. So why, even if it is functional, everything works the way it should work, but there is just some level of touch and feel that the tester always ensure that it is in the application. So it's not just about the bugs alone. So I hope that that is explained. So if you actually got the last thing I said, if you get it better and it wasn't as fast as it was before, just let me know. Just either give it a thumbs up or let me know in the comments before I continue. Thumbs up. Okay, I can see one. Any other person? I can only see one thumbs up. Wow. Only one person? Okay, I can see multiple now. All right, thank you. All right, thank you. I can see multiple now. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. So now I think I just gave like just a surface explanation of what software testing is all about. And I'm sure that during the course of this whole event, you will get to understand it even way better. Don't worry, this is just the start. We're just getting started. We've not even gotten to other key parts. So just relax, you get it even way better. So yeah, that's software testing. So why is software testing important? I mean, why do we need software testers? If we have people that can develop the application, if we have people that can actually do their job, right? I mean, if someone is writing their codes well and they can make sure that there's no error, why do we need software testers? The first thing I would say is about reliability and customer satisfaction. You know, for everything I've been saying since morning, I kept on saying user experience, because trust me, between you and I, if you have other alternative, if you experience, people will tell you that, oh, if you look at all those banking applications, you cut all my money. I'm going to close my account. I'm going to leave this place. I'm going to this. I'm going to do that. Why did people do that? It's because of the experience they had there was not good enough. And they feel like they have alternative. There are several banks in Nigeria they can, Nigeria, for instance, they can explore. And they just feel like, oh, you can't be giving me below par service and I'll still be staying with you. I can always port to another bank and get better service from them. So reliability and customer satisfaction. If you're going to put out any product out there, the main focus is customer satisfaction, because when your customers are satisfied, they will come back. And that retention is the essence of any product out there. It's not just about how many people get to use your product, but how many people come back to use your product. So now software testing ensure that your customers are satisfied and your product is reliable enough to retain your customers. So that's one. Then two, software testing saves time and money. And you might be wondering how, money, time, how? Now, I will not dwell too much on this because I have another slide that's going to give you some really spicy gist on some things. So, but just know that when you test an application, it saves you a lot of time, it saves you a lot of money. Because if you roll out an application and it's not well tested, for instance, financial application, a lot of fintech app out there, what is going to cost you? Imagine you roll out an application and it's not well tested, or there are a lot of bugs flying around, and someone is able to gain access into your system. They move out a whole lot of money and your company is just at a huge loss, fraud. Number two, it saves time, because that moment of rolling out an application, your customer shout at you, blah, 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 then you now come back, you now fix it, then you now go back. Why couldn't you have just fixed it before going live and just reduce the time you spend on unnecessary drama, right? Then another thing, reduce risks of software failures, malfunction, and reinforces security. I think I even already mentioned that while talking about save time and money. It kind of reinforces the security of your customer. It's not just fintech app. There are a lot of, I know that a lot of companies in 2021, 2022 got sanctioned several times for data breach. So you can, if the application is not well tested and people can penetrate and people can, certain data, maybe you're supposed to do certain KYC and you're not doing the KYC correctly, or maybe some API endpoints are open to, they are returning certain data that are necessary to be returned. Things like that can actually cause a lot of security issues. So it's not just about money or people's time and all. There's also the idea about people's data. If I can get your date of birth, get your BVN, get your address, get almost all data about you, it is very easy for people to take advantage of that, access your other applications, access your other reports, and even it can even be a danger to your own life. People can even start tracking you, or what's it called, all the psychopaths that follow you up and down and all. So I mean, it's a serious issue. So software testing also try to protect that. Then strengthens market reputation. If your brand product is solid and people can trust your product, then be rest assured that you don't even have to do a lot of marketing. People will do marketing on your behalf. People will tell other people about your product on your behalf. So that's why it talks about strengthening market reputation. So I don't waste too much time. Let me just go to the next slide. Then when I'm done with the next slide, then I will ask questions around that. So the next slide is case study. So I'm going to give you 3 case study of serious issues where software failures or bugs have caused people to lose their lives and have caused people to lose money, like literally. So let me start. First of all, the killer bug, Terac 25. I'm not sure if anyone knows about this story, but the Terac 25 was supposed to be a revolutionary product of the 1980s. So we have a product that is supposed to help administer drugs to cancer patients. So imagine, now think about it, like, instead of me coming at intervals, let's say something happens, when you're trying to do the chemotherapy sessions for cancer patients, you have to put them under watch and all of that. And you are trying to see that when there's a system that is already attached to your body, that if they notice any significant, maybe any spike in the system is just supposed to administer certain doses to them just to help them kind of put the whole illness under curb and also to heal them over time. So now this Terac 25 was supposed to do such an amazing job, but they call it the killer bug of 1982. Why? Because something happened. There was a bug in this particular product that actually led to the death of 2 people and overdose of 6 patients. I mean, something as revolutionary as that became something that people call the killer bug. Now, when you're talking about Terac 25, you see it as a killer machine. It was supposed to be revolutionary. It was a product that people look out for, but all of a sudden, the whole narrative changed because of this. So now, what the bug did was that now the bug started doing an overdose. So instead of administering you some shots, maybe in 2 hours, for instance, an hour short and all, so that it's a different thing when humans do it. Humans can make mistake and maybe not be exactly timely, but the machine will always be timely. So imagine, instead of doing it at 2 hours interval, the machine was doing it in 20 seconds, in 30 minutes. So it was giving an overdose to the patient that actually even led to the death of 2 people and overdose of about 6 patients. So you can imagine the kind of chaos it's going to cause for the brand, the owner of the company. It was just very chaotic. So that is to emphasize how much testers, and you can have the best product out there. You can have the most revolutionary product out there. But if that product is full of defects, it's just like a wasted effort, wasted idea, wasted money and time and energy, and even wasted reputation at the end of the day. So imagine this type of person now coming up with another product. A lot of people would not even want to use, not be the same product that killed a lot of people the other time. Why should I use that type of brand? And everybody's just like, no. Imagine, for instance, people that are aware of what I'm about to say, imagine MMM. Imagine MMM coming up with another. It's only the gullible people that will actually go and patronize them. People that are smart enough will be like, MMM, even if they are new, like fresh idea, fresh brand, people, MMM, hell no, I can't do this. And people will just run for their life. So it's just the same way. The moment you already have a bad reputation, coming back to the market is going to be like a very tough thing for you to do. Now, going to another one, I know that a lot of people will be more familiar with this particular Boeing aircraft, the 737 MAX aircraft of 20. They actually had 2 different crashes in 2018 and 2019. What happened? Why did we have such a crash that caused about a death of 346 people? They call it this killer software. Can you see the consistency here? You have a software product, you have a product that should be revolutionary, but the moment a defect causes something critical, the name of that product changes from something that's supposed to be revolutionary to something else. That one was called the killer bug. This is called a killer software, because this particular software glitch actually caused these airplanes to crash, and it killed in total, both 2018 and 2019, it killed a total of 346 persons. Now, let me just run through so I don't waste too much time. The final one, the 28, so this particular one is in two parts, because I know that there was a software glitch in 2016, then there was another one in 2018. So now it's just a summary of like both of them. So in Kenya, the National Bank of Kenya actually had a software glitch in I think they had it both in 2016 and 2018. And what happened? It's a financial industry, a financial service. And they had like a serious technical glitch that most financial companies will come back to tell you that, oh, this is exactly what happened. They won't give you the actual details because they also do not want people to now know where the loophole is and start eating the loophole, because if they keep eating the loophole, it might break again and give them access, and they'll gain access again. So I mean, they will definitely not tell you what the exact problem was, but they were they had to give a report about it, like they had a technical glitch that was caused by a bug and all of that, and that bug let them losing 29 million naira. Sorry, not naira. So I mean, when I was talking about it saves, software testing saves time, it saves money, it saves life. Now you understand what I'm talking about. So I just checked my time to make sure that I haven't spent too much time. So I think I'm still right on time. So I mean, in summary of everything that I've said so far, you might be wondering, okay, but in most of the companies around me, they don't really do a lot of this. I mean, we don't have, I'm not going to be testing for an airplane producing company, for instance, or like a medical company, for instance. Neither am I working for the National Bank of any country, for instance. So, I mean, how does this directly affect me? Every application that I'll give a personal example. I was using a pension manager. I had a pension manager, and I was using them for quite a while, but I had to transfer my pension from that pension manager to another. And the problem wasn't that they do not have good customer service. In fact, they had a fantastic customer service, because when I called them to make complaints, they were very eager, very proactive to listen to me, apologize for the errors and all of that. But you know that there's a different thing when you actually keep calling customer care. You feel like they are already trained to be the most pleasant person, and they just keep saying, oh, apologize, we're so sorry for that, and don't worry, we'll work on this and that. But the truth about it is that the application was a total, absolute disaster. The application was terrible. I couldn't even use the application on my iPhone. That was how bad it was. I had to use it on my Android phone. And even on my Android phone, when I want to log in, it would ask me to call the support for them to give me a code. Like, you can't, it's not something like verify these, maybe like, maybe send me an email or something. I have to call the support team for them to give me a code, which is like already strenuous. And even when you call the support team and they give you a code, it's still not working. And the code expires in about a minute. So when it doesn't work, you have to call them again. It was so annoying. It was so frustrating. And I just woke up one day and I said, no, so far I cannot track how my money is going in my pension. It's better to actually take it to a better, I mean, if you can't manage your application, how will you be able to manage my funds and my retirement savings, so to say? So I just felt like this is not where I want to be. And I just transferred it immediately. That's to tell you that the problem wasn't their product. The problem wasn't even their customer service. The problem wasn't if they are a good company or not. The problem was that their application was a disaster. And because as a user, I could not use the application seamlessly, I just packed my load and go. And went. So a lot of people would have had these experiences of them feeling like, oh my goodness, I cannot do this because this application is just messy. So, I mean, it just brings us back to the final part of this particular session that talks about quality is never an accident, but as a result of dedicated testing. Any solid products that you have seen out there, it's not as a result of, it's not an accident. It's not as if they just winged it and it worked. It just worked. It is as a result of dedicated testing. Before you can see any product that works 100%, I was talking about, I think I should also ask the question here. Can you guys just say something in the comments? When you use Netflix, have you ever, okay, someone say, so stressful and they end up disappointing, yeah? All right, so can you guys just drop in the comments and let me know if you've ever used any product, and I mean, okay, before we even go to that, have you guys ever used Netflix and you now had like a serious bug that really frustrated you, apart from network services that they will say something interrupted and all? Have you ever used Netflix and you saw like a serious bug? Just let me know in the comments, or if you've not, let me know. Nope. Please just keep coming. Just keep it coming. Not Netflix. No. I'm wondering, like, why? I mean, I've actually used Facebook and I've had bugs. I've used Instagram and I've seen bugs. But even personally, I've really not seen bugs on Netflix. And you begin to wonder, is it a mistake? No, it was not a mistake. They are a company that, when you're talking about companies that are very, 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 it's always said Facebook is what, WhatsApp, yes, Twitter, WhatsApp. You imagine, but you would not. Why are you not seeing it on Netflix? One of the companies currently, top companies in the world currently, a glitch with download on Netflix. Oh, so I maybe perhaps because Netflix and okay, downloading on the phone. That's possible. That's possible. Twitter, especially my bank app too, is frustrating. I can imagine. But Netflix, actually, it's not like Netflix doesn't have any defect, though, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to critical defect that will affect you as a user, Netflix is that company that takes it to heart. A lot of people are saying downloading on Netflix. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. At least there's one thing. I'm happy I can even see one thing. But most of the time, when you're streaming on Netflix, if it's not your network, navigating on Netflix, very, very smooth. And you wonder why. MTN. Someone said MTN have. I can imagine. So, I mean, you wonder why it's that way. It's not because they just winged it. They are one of the companies that they are very passionate about testing. They do this, we call it the shift left testing approach. And the shift left testing approach is just ensuring that you don't test at the end of the product. You test from the very beginning. You ensure that testing is at the very first phase of your development. Netflix will not wait until they are done building the application before they test it. From the very beginning, testing is involved even from the very beginning. That's so talking to you about. I'm happy that a lot of you have had so many issues. What's different from network issues and a bug? Okay. Yeah, what's the difference between network issues and a bug? So a bug, for instance, is something that makes the application not function as it should. Now, a network issue is your own network provider does not have service, quote and unquote, to actually allow you access the internet. So you can't access the internet because your service provider, your network service provider is currently down, or they don't have service, or what have you. But a bug is that you are actually using an application and you're getting error when you are supposed to have like a smooth process. Let's say, for instance, you want to log into your Netflix account and you're getting can't find user or something, or error, something. You're getting an error. So those type of things are bugs. So it's not coming from your network provider. It's not coming from you. Perhaps all of your details are correct. It's actually coming from the Netflix server. Now it's from them, not from you. There's something LinkedIn does. It is us, not you. Sometimes it's actually you, but they take responsibility nonetheless. So sometimes maybe your network is down and you're on Netflix. Netflix will tell you it is us, not you. And it just makes me laugh, but it makes sense. So yeah, that's it. So I think I've come to the end of my own session, and I'm actually happy that you guys have actually had things like this, and you know that. And okay, I think I need to state very importantly, very, very importantly. Now, I need you to hear me very well. I'll try to take this very slowly. The absence of bug on an application does not mean it has been tested correctly. I'll take that again. The absence, the fact that there are no bugs on an application does not mean it has been tested. Then another part, I'm going to explain both parts. The presence of bugs on an application does not mean it was not tested. I'll take that again. The presence of bugs on a software does not mean it was not tested. So I know that a lot of people will tell you that the moment you are using an application and there is a bug, you say, oh my goodness, don't these people have testers? Didn't their testers see it? But that's not true. I am just here to tell you today, point blank simple. I used to say this jokingly. Quote me anywhere. Abiola Razak said this. Quote me anywhere, any place, anyhow, any day. There is no application, there is no software product currently in the world, I mean in the whole entire universe currently, that is 100% free from defects. 100%. What company does, what we do is to thrive towards, oh, we can get 99%, right? We can make sure that there are no critical defect on our application. But that is not to tell you that there is any application. I can't begin to tell you several times that even Google, was it Google or Microsoft that tried to do a demo one day and like in the presence of the whole world, and it was just, you can check it out on YouTube. You can check it out on YouTube. They tried to make a demo and it was a total flop because of a defect. Are you trying to say that those top companies did not do proper testing? That's not true. You know, when someone used to say that defects, sometimes bugs are like evil spirit. Do you not see them? Another person, you're in production, you've released to your customers, and they are just everywhere. It doesn't mean that the tester did a terrible job. No, absolutely not. The tester is just to ensure that we release as minimal defect as possible. Imagine if you don't have a tester at all. Like you are cooking something, and the food that you are cooking is a very sweet food, and the recipe for that food is just in capital letter, disaster. Proper disaster. That's the food you're cooking. If there's anybody that releases a product without testing, don't worry, they'll teach you, you'll come back. You'll come back. So I just needed to put that out there. Yeah, exactly. But you test, by the time the developer fixes, you bring out something else. Yeah, exactly. You might be using an application and you have like a lot of error and you're wondering why. I think one person once asked, what's the difference between software testing and what's it called, cybersecurity? So security testing, cybersecurity, they are actually a side of testing, but we don't necessarily interject them totally under software testing. They are a type of testing. It's just like penetration testing, white hacking, and all of those things. They are a type of testing, but they are not directly under this field of software testing. They are, you can call them the field of security testing as a whole. So, for instance, software testing actually, software testers, we do a level of security checks, but we don't do like we do security. I'll give examples so people don't get lost. We do security checks. We check for vulnerabilities. We check for authentication issues. That's for login instance. For instance, let's say you want to log in into your Zoom account, for instance. What happens if I do like a force brute attack on your account? So that means that I'm entering invalid accounts over and over, invalid data over and over again. What happens? Does the system break after a while? Like, you know, if you're entering, like it's telling you incorrect, and you're saying enter, 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 enter. The application, that if you keep clicking enter, 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 you have a brute force. You force your way into the system. Before you know, the system will actually give way for you to enter. So that means that there's a level of security check that should have been done there. Like, oh, if you try to enter, you see some application, if you enter wrong password, let's say 5 times, they tell you that you cannot try again until, let's say, the next 1 minute, the next 2 minutes, the next 5 minutes. That is to prevent brute force attack on your system. So things like that, the tester actually checks it. So cybersecurity is different from software testing, but software testers still do a level of security checks also. So I hope that explains. So I don't waste too much time. I would just hand over to Esther. But if you have any question for me before I go, just let me know in the comments. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you have any question. And if you also like understood everything I said, just give like thumbs up. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Don't worry, we have like a lot of, I'm very sure that you guys, and some people might also be wondering why are we taking it this route? I mean, maybe you're expecting I will just come and be teaching you software testing, come and do like this, come and do like this. And one of the reasons we are doing that is because we already understood that a lot of people, now imagine I had to like go back to break it down at a point. That's because I understand that a lot of people are new to tech. A lot of people are also new to software testing. So it's better to introduce the field to you this way than just bombarding with a lot of information. So I hope this helped. I'll hand over to Esther now, and she'll take it from there. All right, thank you, everyone. Esther, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Can
Would
you hear me?
you want to, sorry, Esther, would you like to share your screen or should I move it for you?
Oh, no, you can keep sharing your screen.
All right.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. And that was a wonderful one, Abiola. I actually enjoyed that session. So I think this is my own time, so I'll be taking you guys through how software testing works, right? So as a software tester, when you get into an organization, what do you do? So I think Abiola, all right, I can see it now. So we're going to be looking at the important roles of a QA and test engineers. So you might probably be hearing companies say we're looking for a software tester. Some would say we're looking for a quality assurance engineer. Some would say we're looking for a test engineer. Some would say we're looking for a QA automation engineer. So everything is under software testing, and the other part of it is quality assurance, which is more like the process. Why software testing is more like the actual job, what you're doing. So we have test planning, test design, test execution, defect management, and continuous improvement. So for test planning, actually, as a QA, before you start a project, when you get the information from your company or from the product development team that we're about to go into a project, and this and this and this is what we want to do. They give documentations, like the product manager will give you documentations to say, this is what we want to achieve on this product. As a software tester, one of your roles is to write the test plan. This is where the test planning comes in. So you should create a test plan that outlines the testing objective, the scope of the project, the resources required in terms of tools you want to use, and how many team members would be available in the QA team for that project, and then the testing schedule. That's how the testing will be, how you split the testing across the project. So this test plan is more like a document where, depending on your role on the team, if you're the QA manager, you will most likely be the one creating this document. And then if you're just like a junior or maybe a mid-level QA, your QA manager will create this document and share with you guys, and then allocate each person what they will be testing. If this person is going to be the one testing the APIs, or this person is going to be the one testing the web. Most of you might not understand what API means, but once you enter the field, you understand it. So the next one is the test design. So as a QA engineer, you should design test cases that covers that are effective in detecting defect issues in the software. So by this, After your test plan and your QA engineer has said, okay, this person, you'll be the one testing API, you'll be the one testing web. The next thing is to look at the documentation. In the documentation, the product manager will provide you with acceptance criteria and user stories. So from these acceptance criteria and user stories, and also from what you as a QA understand what that product might be, you will start creating your own test cases, right? To cover the features of the product and the functionality. For example, if I have a basic fintech application and my QA manager assigns me to say, Esther, you're going to be testing the registration part of this application. So when I look at the documentation, I look at the acceptance criteria and the user story, I come up with my test cases and I write things like the user should be able to register on the application successfully, right? So in this case, the user should be able to input their name, their first name, their last name, their email address, their password, and register. So that's one of the test case I'll come up with. So actually, that's where the test design comes in. So as a QA, you would be doing that. The next one is the test execution. So this part is where you make sure that the software, sorry guys. So this part is where you make sure that the software is behaving as expected and it is meeting the requirements. So now the test design that you have created, you now have to execute them on the product to see that they are behaving as expected. For example, I talked about the registration, and I said, when I put my name, my first name, my last name, my email address, and my password, I should be able to log in, right? So when I'm executing this test, I most likely have the app with me, right? If it's a mobile app or a web app, and I'm typing on the app and it's working, right? If it's not working, then that is where a bug find comes out and say, okay, I put my name and it's not typing, or I put my password and it's not working, or I put a password that is just numbers. I don't think we should allow users to use just numbers as password. So that's where the test execution comes in, right? This is where you start executing the test cases that you have written on the app to make sure that they are working as expected. So the next one is defect management. As a QA, once you have executed, your test cases against the application or the product, the next thing is you will definitely find bugs. Like, just like Abiola said, she said something about finding bugs, right? When you find a bug as a QA, it is your duty to manage that bug. Before we get to the part of managing, the first thing you need to do is report the bug to say, we have found a bug, right? If you test an application and you don't find a bug, it means that you probably need to expand your testing strategy, right? So expanding your testing strategy might mean including other aspects of the application. Have I checked the security aspect? Have I checked the performance aspect? Have I checked the usability aspect of this application? So you most definitely would find something that you have not factored into your test cases. So In this defect management, you report the bug. As a QA, it's your job to prioritize which bug comes first and which bug comes last. So prioritizing the bugs will be, we have low, we have medium, we have high, and then we have critical. So the critical usually comes most times first. If you have experience in the product development cycle, you would hear when people when developers are saying, "I'm doing a hot fix." So a hot fix is most likely a critical bug found that need to be fixed immediately, and the tester needs to ascertain that it's working, and then we need to push back to production. So for the I most likely mean this is something that we need to prioritize first, because it's something that can affect the user using the application. For medium and low, just like that, depending on how the tester has seen this and want to prioritize based on that. And most likely prioritization is also usually done by the product manager or the QA manager, depending on the setting of the organization. Most organizations don't have product managers, so the QAs usually also act as the product managers in such organization. So you would most likely be doing stuff like that. And defect management, you need to also follow up with the engineer. When will this be fixed? Have you fixed it? Should I test it? And should I test? Should I give feedback and stuff like that? That's one of your roles as a QA. So the next thing is, continuous improvement. Just like, the word continuous improvement means, it means that you need to continually evaluate, the testing process, right? You need to continually be up to date to make sure that you're using the right testing techniques, and you're using the right tools, and you're using the right methods to improve, your testing skills. And once you're doing this, you're also improving the product. You're looking at aspects that you have not looked at while testing the product, and then you're coming up with a more robust test strategy, right? Yep, I think that's it for continuous improvement. Abiola, yeah. So before I continue, I'd just like to, see a thumbs up to make sure that everybody is following up with what I'm saying, just to keep everyone in check. Yeah. So yeah, we can continue now. So the next thing we're going to be looking at, yeah, I'm seeing the thumbs up. Thank you, guys. The next thing we're going to be looking at is tools that testers use. So in testing, we have what we call manual and we have what we call automation, right? For the manual is where, how am I going to put it now? Manual is more like human efforts, purely human efforts. You're not using any code framework or anything to execute your test. It's purely your efforts. So just give me a moment. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so for this manual testing tools, we have a couple of tools that requires the QA to completely do all the work. And for the automation, we have where we have tools that helps the QA. So the first one is test management tools. Yeah, test management tools. So these are tools that actually helps us in organizing the test cases. I mentioned test cases, and also I mentioned test plans. So for the test management tools, this helps us to manage the test cases. An example of a test management tool would be your spreadsheets, your Google spreadsheets. Most companies, especially in Nigeria, they do not spend time purchasing test management tools. We have other test management tools, like TestRail, Zephyr, HP Quality Center, and stuff like that. But Nigerian companies most times do not buy these tools, because if you want to use these tools, you need to pay for your QA team to use them. But most times it's always Google spreadsheets. So the Google spreadsheet, you kind of section how you want to write your test cases on the Google spreadsheet, or how you want to create your test plan on the Google Docs. So yeah, that's what the test management tools does. It actually helps you manage your test cases and your test plan, but this is completely your effort because it is manual. So the next one is a bug tracking tool. So these are tools that help you track bugs that you found during testing. For example, we have Jira. Jira is a typical example because I use Jira. So once you find a bug, you quickly create a ticket on Jira with the title of the bug, with the description of the bug, with a video explaining to whoever is going to pick up the bug what you actually found. And also in that ticket, you also add the expected behavior and the actual behavior of the bug. So what you actually found and what you are expecting to find. So Jira is a typical example of this. So when you create your ticket, you assign it to a developer, and then you put a label to the ticket. So this would help you track the bug. Once the developer picks it up, we have different labels to say it's in development, it's ready for development, it's in code review, and it's ready for testing. So that way you're able to track this. So now, just like I said, it's manual, so it's completely your efforts. You're not it's not something special. So the next one is test execution tools. There are also tools that help you execute your test cases, right? A typical example is Test Complete. Another example would be X-ray on Jira. There's a particular tool on Jira that is called X-ray, that it's a test execution tool. So once you finish writing your test cases on the testing board, it tells you create a test execution. Then you create a test execution and you either put the test execution to do, failed, or successful. So you say, I ran this test case against these conditions and it failed. So the good thing about it is it creates a report that shows all the test cases you've run, what failed and what is successful. So it's actually easy for you to track because it has executed that stuff for you. But then it is your effort, because you are still the one that is going to say if it's successful or it's failed. So yeah, X-ray is a very good tool for that, and also Test Complete. The next one is performance testing tools. So for that, this okay, hold on. Yeah, this sorry. No. Sorry about that, guys. So the next one is communication and collaboration tools. So for this communication, for example, Slack channel, right? Slack channel is an example of a communication and collaboration tool for a QA, and that is where you probably have like a group where you communicate with your other QA team members and your QA managers, or a group where you communicate with your developer and stuff like that, depending on what your company is using, right? So some companies use Microsoft Teams, some use Google Workspace, some use Slack, depending on that. Those tools are actually good. Slack is a very good one. Like documentation tools. These are actually tools that you use for your documentation. A good example is the Notion. I'm very sure many of us here we use Notion, right? Notion is a good documentation tool where you can use to document your QA process, your QA goals, and stuff like that. Let's move to automation tools. For automation tools, we have Selenium, Cypress, Appium, Cucumber, Test Complete, Postman, and Catalog. So I'll just say a few things about these automation tools. So this, can we mute Eddie Young, I think. Thank you. So for these tools, these are tools that helps the QA. This is not purely your efforts. You just need to do some configuration, write some codes, and then it helps you run your tests. If it's web, if it's API. An example, Selenium is for web, Cypress is for web. Now you can use Cypress to test APIs too. Postman is purely for API testing. Catalog Studio for mobile. You can also use Cypress for mobile, but it's mainly for web automation. Yeah, Appium is for mobile. You can also use for web. So it actually depends on what your company is using. It is good to learn about this automation tool.
Esther, are you there? Sorry, can any other person here? Okay.
I think
okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I think it's a network. All right, that's fine.
Actually, not my network. Sorry, it's actually not my network. I said, give me a minute.
Oh, okay. We couldn't hear you. All right, that's fine.
I won't. Sorry, guys. It's delivery. It's a delivery guy. So the guy is just disturbing my phone. I've spoken to him. So we can continue. Like I said, automation tools. I think we're past this now. Oh, sorry. I was saying something about, as a beginner, you would not like dive into automation immediately. You would most likely start with the manual tool before you move to automation, because automation is like the whole department on its own. Hello? Have you guys been hearing anything?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God, so sorry. So sorry about that. I was talking about as a beginner QA, not diving right into automation testing immediately. You most likely do manual first, because some companies usually have like a special department for QA automation and also for manual testing. And there are also companies that would tell you to do both, but in such cases, you would most likely be doing more of manual than automation, maybe a little automation there. Abiola, can we go to the next slide? Thank you. Yeah, so the next slide is, what skills do you need as a QA? Soft skills. We have analytical skill and an eye for detail. Yes, as a QA, you need to be very analytical. You need to look at things with a critical eye. You don't need to take things just as it is. Or you say, no, you need to have that analytical skill and look at things.
Hi, Hester.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can't lose you for like 2 seconds there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so like I said, analytical skill. I don't know, I put my phone on do not disturb and I can still see calls. Are you sure iPhone doesn't have a bug? Just saying, Sha. So the analytical skill and eye for details, like I said, you need to be very analytical. You need to look at things with a critical eye. You need to pick details, even if it's just as good as full stop. I worked with a company last year. I think I was testing something and I skipped a part on the copy edit where there was no full stop. Guess who found it? There was no full stop. I'm saying full stop on the copy edits that were supposed to push to prod. And the CEO found it. And she was like, why is there no full stop yet? And this is something I should have picked up when I was, analyzing the copy edits. I saw other things like, where would they need to be commas and all of that, or spelling errors, but that full stop, I didn't put it. So as a QA, you need to have that eye for details. You need to have the eye for details where something as small as full stop can be a problem. So pay attention to details when there's a planning, when there's a product planning, a sprint planning. As a QA, trust me, you need to be the one paying the most attention, because you're more like the owner. You're more like the owner of making sure that the product is working. So you need to pay attention to details. So your communication skills, this is very, very important, especially in interviews. They are going to ask you, and you're going to talk about communication skills. So this is the most important skill as a QA, because whatever you find, you're going to communicate it. And you're not communicating back to your QA members, you're communicating back to people who do not really understand testing. You're communicating back to developers, you're communicating back to product managers, you're communicating back to business analysts, and you're telling them, I found this thing and this is how it's supposed to be, but it's not like this. and you put full stop and you send it and say it's a bug. Nobody understands that. They will ask you, what do you mean Esther? Or what do you mean Rama? Or what do you mean Saidat? Are you saying that this one, that one? So you need to be able to, communicate well to your colleagues, to developers, to business analysts, and product managers, to say, okay, this is what I found. These are the steps that you need to follow when you want to find the same thing that I found. This is what I'm expecting to get when I execute this, and stuff like that, right? So the next one is logical thinking. You need to be very logical. No emotions. People are going to come at you and say, where is the QA? Didn't she test this? Didn't she look at this? Nah, you you need to know that you're doing your job. It is what you signed up for, and it is what you're getting. So you need to be very logical in that aspect. Even in terms of the product, you need to be logical. You might be QAing a fintech product, and you kind of need to go an extra mile to look at other fintech products that are doing well in the market. And then you bring it back to your team to say, I think we're doing this wrongly. This competitor is doing this, and I think we need to factor in what they are also doing well in our product. So that's part of it. Reporting and documentation. You need to report, you need to document. Technical terminologies and trends, you need to learn. You need to talk like a QA. When you're giving updates in the office, I'm doing a smoke test, I'm doing a regression test, I'm about to carry out a performance test, I'm about to look at the security vulnerability in our application. You need to start learning to use terms like that. And you also need to follow the QA trend. Look at what's going on in the QA field and stuff like that. And the last thing is teamwork. Great teamwork, great teamwork. Number one thing, you need support as a QA. If you're a very emotional person as a QA, you find it difficult in the first phase of your career, because as a QA, you don't need to, I must say, you don't really need to have emotions. You need to be very, very direct and diplomatic in your job. So the next one is your technical skills, programming languages, domain knowledge, automation tools, knowledge of testing technique and methodologies. I'm just going to summarize this. So for programming languages, you need to learn a programming language when you want to do automation, right? You can either learn JavaScript, Java, or any other thing, any other programming language. You can learn Python. Most people think QAs don't write codes, but it's a lie. You will write code, except you want to be a local champion QA. If you want to be a QA where your skills are actually sought after in the world, you need to add programming. Your technical skills need to be top-notch. But if you want to be a local champion QA where, okay, all you need to do is test and report bugs, right? Then you can just go to the, you can just like, please. Sorry, who's clapping?
Because I think that was when
Hello. So you need to kind of like understand a bit of coding to advance as a QA. I'm not saying manual testing is not a big thing in the market, it's big. But even as a manual tester, you cannot just be a manual tester. You need to add a bit of technicalities to it because you're working with developers. For example, there are some companies where you don't write, you most likely will not write automation tests, but you can actually test a developer's unit test. I test developers' unit test, so I know. So you need to understand the coding concept. So the next thing is domain knowledge. domain knowledge, you need to understand what's in vogue in QA. I think there was a trend then for BDD, behavioral driven tests. And I was like, what's BDD? Every job description I go to, I see BDD. You need to understand BDD. You need to understand Cucumber. And I'm like, Cucumber framework, what does that mean? So yeah, you need to learn those things. You need to learn automation tools. I mentioned a couple in the last one. And also, you need to have knowledge of testing techniques and methodologies. I think that's all for my time, right, Abiola? That's all right. Hello.
Thank you so much, Hester. Yeah, thank you. Please, can we just give I think there should be like reaction. You should be able to give a round of applause here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
just
all right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Esther. Yeah, I hope you guys were able to pick a thing or two, and I hope you're able to also jot a lot of things down. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I can see your reaction. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. All right, so I think we'll move on to the next part. Don't worry, we're almost done. We're almost done. So we'll move on to the next part. This part is going to be taken by Ayomide. Ayomide, are you on the call? Ayomide. If you're speaking, all right.
Apologies, I got disconnected.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can, but your network is kind of shaking. Can you say something again?
Hello, can you hear me now?
I think it's better now.
It's better. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Welcome.
Apologies for that. MTN wanted to show me shaggy. Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Hope we are enjoying ourselves and we're going through with the section and it's all making sense. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So Abimbola, I will still need you to share. So I said Abimbola, please. Apologies. I'll still need you to share your screen. So what are the prospects? Yes, in QA, let's go to this slide. So yes, this is career opportunities and job advancement. Yes, okay. So I know that we've been hearing a lot of things about, this is what QA is, what you're supposed to do as a QA. Yes, so now how do I really get into this career? What are the career opportunities attached to this career, to this job and the job advancement? So we can see the ladder here. We have internship, manual tester, automation tester, test analyst, test lead, test manager, and director of the unit. So let me start from the internship. So in tech, the best way to come into tech is to start as an intern. Yeah. So as a QA, now that we have this idea, we know what it is, we could just, start up with taking certificate, like some courses on LinkedIn or Udemy, free courses that we could get free certifications and all of that. So once you get all the certification, you can easily apply for an internship role. And while as an intern, if you are really good with what you do, like you are dedicated, yes, definitely you would get the job as an entry level, because I could say that I started as an intern in QA and the experience was really worth it. Yes. So at that point, I wasn't only trying to prove myself as worthy of the job, but I was also learning and also getting myself involved in the process. So either as an intern, you shouldn't see it as, I'm just an intern, what's my own business? My own is just to gather experience. No. Get into the act. That's why I tell people, get into the act as an intern. Don't see it as you're an intern. See it as you already have the job. So once you skate through that process, you're moving as a manual tester. Yeah, so many people, I don't know if we have people like that here. There are some people that when they want to get into QA, they just go to learn automation straight. And I keep telling people that you can never ever skip manual, because I feel that as a tester, if your manual skill is not to a certain extent good enough, you might find it difficult understanding automation. Meaning, okay, let me use this instance. let me use web testing now. For instance, Esther mentioned something around web automation tools, using certain tools for web testing. So you don't have idea of knowing how to click login, or what is expected when you want to click login, or when you input a wrong password, a wrong username, all of those things. You don't know how to navigate through those things, and you just jump into automation. Let me use Cypress as an example. You're trying to create a negative test case scenario. If you don't understand go, no, you need to try. What if I break this? What if I do this? So if at manual level you don't understand these things yet, so navigating to automation might be difficult. It's still breaking. Oh, Father Lord, tempting. How about now?
We can hear you now. Don't worry. If there's, for any reason, if the network kick you out, we're here to cover up. Don't worry, just keep.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I can't stand by every spirit of network interruption. Okay, all right. So moving up to automation test. So that's the next ladder. Yes, so automation test. Well, I would just like to correct it. It's just here in Nigeria that we're expected to do everything. Because there was a time I was doing research around QA, and I found out that, there's some people that are just manual testers. Yes, like they are just manual testers. Some people that we have mobile manual testers, we have web manual testers. But my dear, here in Nigeria, you have to be everything. So it's expected that you know how to do manual testing, you know how to do automation tests. However, this is my advice. Just get the tool that works best for you. We'll start from there. For API, get the tools that work best for you. Try to understand. And before you say you want to move into what everybody is using, understand the basics of this automation test. So like Esther mentioned, where you want to do API, where you want to do Cypress, know these tools, understand what they are meant for, and pick up one. Okay, try it out. If you don't understand, try the second one. And if you don't, it's okay for you to always reach out. No one is an island of knowledge. Yes, so it is okay for you to still be a manual tester, understand it. And if you want to move to automation testing, start from somewhere. Don't be so occupied with, everybody uses Selenium. I must use Selenium. One step at a time. As we can see, there's a ladder. One step at a time. Even while as a manual tester, you can be learning automation like side, and be practicing. And once you're good, you can say, okay, now I'm not good with automation test, because automation testing doesn't just come like blah, blah, like that. It doesn't happen 100% at once. It's a gradual process. So once you're good with this, you've moved from the internship part to manual to automation. Yes, it's okay for you to be a test analyst. And at this point, yes, you're the boss. You're the boss. Yes. So at this point, you are able to, to understand your team's, should I say, strengths, who is able to do manual testing, who to assign tasks to, how to undo test plan and all of that. Like, Esther gave us all of those explanations. Also, thank God this section is being recorded. You can always go back to understand things better. So for test manager, as a test manager, yes, you are like, you understand the technical parts, you understand the automation parts, you understand the manual parts and all of that. So you are able to manage even interns, manual testers, automation testers. And okay, I think there's a question. Okay, I thought it was a question. Apologies. So for director, head of units, these are just levels. However, there's something I always say, regardless of the level, there is one thing that we shouldn't ignore is quality should be part of you regardless, because definitely the aim is to get to a top level for everybody, obviously, because as you get to that level, fine, your finance, your income is definitely going to increase. However, we shouldn't always forget that quality first. So regardless of when we are saying meetings and say, we should be done with this in the next 2 days, don't say because you are in the management meeting, say management say no. At least let them understand why it is like that, and you come back to your team, get to know that this is what we need to do. How can we do this? Is this achievable and all of that? So we shouldn't just give in to pressure, regardless of the level you find yourself. Never give in to pressure. Understand that quality is the first level as tester or as a QA person or software tester, so the case may be. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. So please carry me what's the next slide here. Thank you. Great. The moment of truth. I'm sure when we started the whole session, everybody, some people, don't let me say everybody, some of us will be like, oh, man, so I can do this. Okay, if I start this skill, how much will I be earning? Will I be earning, bro? Yes, so this is it. This is salary range that this might not be fixed, but at least this is still within the range. So for beginners, entry level testers, when you start as a beginner or as an entry level. So for beginners, what beginner means is this is not internship level. This is after internship. You are good. Yes, you can apply for an entry level because you have certain level of experience. That I think for beginners is within a year or two. Yes, a year or 2 years experience. I stand to be corrected. So we have 1.8 million to 3 million per year. He says still money, yes. So that is the salary range for beginners or entry-level testers. For mid-level testers, I think it starts from 3 to 4 years and 3, 4, 5 years. Yes, if I'm correct. So the senior level starts from, I think, 5 years and above. And yeah, that's the like. So feel free, enjoy the process. Like I mentioned, understand that quality is the watchword. Quality is the watchword. Why you advance, why you grow, whatever new tools that's being used, always understand that the end game is quality, to get things done in the proper way. Yes, regardless of the pressure, because there will always be pressure. There would always be pressure. So other countries, this is not Nigeria for beginners. Yes, so this is the sweetest part, like I mentioned. Earning in dollars, everybody was earning dollars. So for beginners or entry level outside Nigeria, this is the amount: $31,000 to $48,000 a year. Mid-level testers, $47,000, $71,000 per year. Senior level testers or leads, average. So you can see we noted this. So average is $68,000 to $97,000 per year. Yes, still money. Yes, just be ready to do the work. Yes. We put this note, so we shouldn't fix our mind as, oh, this is what it's going to be. Please note the actual salary ranges may vary depending on factors such as, yes, location, company size, industry, yes, individual skills and experience. Like I mentioned, experience is key, it's important. So even as an intern, enjoy your work, enjoy the job. Don't be so bothered about, oh, you just want to get the experience. Get skilled, follow up with the process, be in the arts, like enjoy your work. Because I understand that once you enjoy what you're doing, the experience just flows. Like once you are always, getting more skills, the experience just flows and you get better day by day. Yeah, can move on to the next slide. So now let's take advantage of. Yes, I mentioned this earlier that for interns, yes, once you are taking courses online, always look out for courses that you're going to get certificates. Yes, because once you get certificates, you have something to prove that, oh yes, I've done this. Because we have some courses around manual testing, some courses around in-depth testing, generally how to create test reports and all of that. Always ensure that you get certificate. That's what I try to advise people. So that stands as an evidence for completing a course. For it's just an evidence to say, oh yes, I know what I'm doing. I have done this. It's not a problem. I have certain understanding. Yes, because it's quite different from hands-on at the job, but at least you have an idea, you have an experience to compare to someone that does not even understand. Someone just wake up, I want to start QA today. Oh yeah, I'll take me as an intern. They will now say, okay, this is an application. You now be asking, which application is this? Is this web or mobile? You will see .apk. You'll be asking, what is .apk? What is this APK? Do you get? So take training. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Ayo. Thank you. Everyone, please again, can we give Ayo a round of applause? Can we appreciate her? She really did well in like explaining everything from the career flow to the opportunities to the range. I mean, and she even shared her own experiences. It's not like she's just telling you by the book. She's telling you what is actually practical and applicable. So let's give that to her. Thank you so much, Ayo. Even though the network wanted to shake, you were still able to dish out everything to us in an excellent way. Thank you so much, Ayo. Please, let's appreciate Ayo. Let's appreciate her. Thank you. I can see all of thank you, all of the reactions. Thank you very much. I think someone says that, can a tester get a remote job? Let me just tell you that I've been working remotely from 2020 till now. I have not worked in an office, like proper go to the office, go and work since 2020 till today. So I think that just answers the question. And can you get you're also talking about remote work. I'm not just talking, I know that we mentioned a lot of Nigeria, because we know that a lot of Nigerians are on the call, and we are also Nigerians, we are giving that perspective. But like Esther also mentioned when she was talking, we are not just giving from the Nigerian perspective alone. I've worked with about 3 international companies on different occasions at different times. I've not just been a tester there, I've actually also led teams of testers. So whatever I'm telling you, whatever everyone on this call is telling you, same thing for Esther and other people, whatever we are telling you are things that are actually functional and happening. They are not just by the text, they're things that are actually happening. All right, thank you very much. So I think I would just take this final part for a reason. Then I'll hand over to Bami to just do the thank you part. All right, so career mapping. I think when Ayomide was talking, she had like she really said a lot of things around how you grow. When she was talking about this, from internship to manual to automations, she did a fantastic job there. And I think Esther also mentioned around being a manual tester and when should you move and all. So let's even start talking about the elephant in the room, which is this guy here. So this career mapping course, and you're asking like, what is career mapping? So a lot of people might have dreams. You might not even want to be a tester to even start with. Maybe you want to be a front-end developer, you want to be a UI UX person. Maybe you're not even trying to be in tech. You want something else entirely. You want to be a banker. You want to be a human resource manager. You want to be something not even necessarily tech related. But you have a dream. You are saying that in the next 5 years, in the next 4 years, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to see myself. But the honest truth is that you just have that in your head. You don't necessarily have the goals written down. Let me sound like Denzel Washington, but I don't know. I'll try to mimic his voice. Don't laugh. Dreams without goals are just dreams. Don't worry, my voice is too tiny to mimic his voice, but you get it. But he says something like dreams without goals. You guys are actually laughing. Wow. But it's fine. It's just to make you laugh. Anyways, I can say that dreams without goals are just dreams. They will die a dream. So imagine you're going from here to, let's say you're going to a restaurant, but you're hungry. You know that you are going to a restaurant to eat. That's even perhaps you know the name of the restaurant you're going to, but you don't necessarily know how to get there, right? What you can do is put the address on Google Map, and Google Map will help you navigate to that place that you're going to, right? So Google Map helps you. Now, what this career mapping course does is that it's not just for software testers, it's for anybody that is planning to grow in their career at any point in time. So now the career mapping course allows you to understand where you currently are. What are the steps? You'll be able to find out what are the steps to get to that place and what your end goal is. So where am I currently? Am I a graduate that is looking to become a director of QA or a CTO in a tech company in the next 5 years? Okay, that is where I am currently. What do I need to do by the next 2 years to allow me achieve the goal I have? Let's say I want to be an HR manager. Okay, currently I am currently an HR intern. What do I need to get to that point that I am not just an HR manager, I am an HR partner for a firm. I'm not just an HR manager, I am on the management team for the firm when it comes to human resource. I mean, you have all of those dreams, but the career mapping course is going to help you now create a clear map. I know a lot of people, you might have this vision board at the end of at the beginning of every year. You have this vision board, this image for you traveling more, this image for your relationship, this image for your financial goals, this image for your career goals. But people just have all of these things flying around. What happens? So, for instance, imagine that you are planning to relocate next year, and you are saying that in one of your goals, you want to be the what's it called? You want to be the top clinical for one firm in Nigeria. Now you need to think about it. I mean, that's a dream, right? But you need to think about it. These companies, do they allow you, when you relocate tomorrow now, will they allow you to be offshore and grow in the ladder and still be working and still not get to that point that you now be top something? Let's say a Flutterwave, you want to be like a senior person or a manager or something in Flutterwave, but currently you are still an intern, but you want to relocate tomorrow. With Flutterwave, allow you climb up that ladder and get to that point while you're overseas. Like questions like that. Now it allows you bring in all of your goals. So your goals for your future, your goals for your finances, your goals for maybe your relationship, your goals for your health. It allows you bring everything together. Now align it with your career goals, because every of these things affect it. Now allow you, where am I currently? What are the map? What are the steps I need to take to get to where I'm going to? And how do I get to my final destination? So that's literally what this career mapping course is going to give you. Now, this career mapping course is never free, but there's a catch somewhere. So because we are making it open to everyone on this call, this career map is only going to be, application will only be open for today and to Monday morning for people on this call only. So from Monday, we are supposed to start making publicity about it from Monday, but we are not doing that yet because we don't really want outsiders to get access to it yet, because the price that is currently on it is only available for people on this call. Anyone that applies out of this call would have access to the regular price that we charge for it. So we charge 15K for the course, but everyone that is on this call would have access to buy this course for 5K. So that means we literally took away 10,000 naira. That is why we cannot open it to every other person. We only make it available for this call only, because it's only if you're available here that you can have access to this and make payment for this. The moment we start making publicity by Monday, it is open to the public and it is open at the actual fee. So I just needed to come back to really explain why this is. So it's not just about software testing alone, because for everyone that needs growth in their career, I'll give an example. I actually started, like every other person I've been saying on the call, as an intern software tester. And I know that at the point I was with a particular company for almost 4 years. And at the point I needed to go because I already had a goal. Like when I joined the company, I knew that, okay, I joined as an intermediate level tester. And I knew that I wanted to become not just the team lead of the test team. I wanted to be the test manager that I have other team leads under. That was my goal for that company. I know, okay, when I join this company, I'm going to leave as a test manager and I'm going to get it within this year. And when I got it, even if there was no comfort, you're not in your comfort zone. I've gotten it, I'm not a test manager. Let me just rest my back. I knew that, okay, yeah, it sounds nice, but I have something else on my board. I know I have something else I need to achieve. I already created the map, and for me to get to the destination I've set for myself, I need to move as fast as I could. So I had to leave, even though, I was, for a test manager, I was earning so well, so well. I was earning so well. I had liberty to do other things, do side gigs, because I wasn't really the one actively involved in a lot of testing activity. I have a lot of people under me that could get that done. So imagine you have all of that, but I just needed to know that, oh, I have a map, I have somewhere I'm going to, and I need to move. And I had to resign from there and move on to my next phase because it was time to move. So I would not have moved. I would have just stayed in that place for so long, almost forever, if not because I have written down goals, and that goal now led me to achieve something else. And I feel like it also helps you personally, because a lot of people that are in tech, They just get their tech job and they sit down and that's all. What's the next thing? They don't know. They get frustrated. Like, honestly, like, what do I do next? I mean, I get promoted, I get more funds, more money. It will get to a point in your career that the frustration and the money might not match. You will just be so frustrated that the money you are getting is not doing the work it's supposed to do. So I mean, what gives you that level of satisfaction is when you know you have a goal you're always working towards and you keep ticking those goals. So you have a goal, you have a drive, you have a passion. At the same time, you are getting paid for doing what you want to do. It's a different vibe entirely. So yeah, that's this. So I'm going to share the link to this application here, and we would also send a mail immediately after this call to everyone on this call to so that you'll be able to access the link. And please remember, from Monday morning, we are back to point 1. All right, so that's been said. So the next one is 1 month software testing training. So for everyone who applied for this training and for everyone who took out time to actually be here today, we are going to send 50 people out of everyone on this call who we have selected. We're going to send 50 people mail, and those 50 people are going to undergo 1 month software testing training and mentorship for free. You're not paying a dime, not 1 kobo. It's all free. So 1 month free. And I mean, I would say that courtesy of, I should actually say that courtesy of She Code Africa, because I mean, for people who already know She Code Africa and the amazing things the amazing opportunity they bring for girls. I mean, they made it available, like, oh, why not we just also give them this opportunity to learn something? So it's not, aside from, you, to be very honest, you can't learn everything about software testing in a day. We just gave you an introduction. We just kind of introduced the field to you. We kind of made everything yummy, pleasant, amazing, get to know what to expect and all of that. But we haven't really gone into the full work. You can't really call yourself a tester after here. And there's no way we could have trained you to become a tester on a 2-hour call. It's not possible. So now that 1 month training is going to now make it available. And yeah, we have like 50 people we will be sending mail, so you can just be the lucky person. And you never can tell, we might decide to extend. You never can tell. So I mean, just keep checking your mail. You can just be part of the lucky 50 that will be selected for the training. All right, I think at this point I would just ask, does anyone have any other thing? Okay, let me just see the comments. This mentorship is a whole lot. All right. Oh, the criteria for choosing. So, well, I know that you guys really already know that when you were applying, we asked a couple of questions. Do you have access to internet? What are you going to do with the skill at the end of the day? Why should you be chosen? And all of those questions. So the honest truth is that for you to have communicated, for you to have explained yourself in details, that's actually one of the criteria. And for everyone that, I mean, we gave some room also for people who are on this call and who have engaged at different intervals. We also gave room for those people. So if you have been engaging and all, well, today might be your lucky day. So yeah, I can say the career market is very lovely. I really, really love to be tailored to the tech. Exactly. So don't worry, it's not just going to be for testers, it's going to be tailored for the tech industry. Because to be very honest, I know a number of people, they were very eager when they got their very first tech gig. But what happens after getting their first tech gig? They're like, okay, I'm a junior developer. Next thing, senior developer. Next thing, team lead. What else? Should I go? Okay, maybe I should go and get gigging, maybe one US gig or one UK gig. And they just keep getting gigs. And that's the end. And you look at it, to be very honest, is it sustainable at the end of the day? If you do that till the next 10 years, would you still be able to keep doing gigs while you even get older? I mean, what's the plan for the future, to be honest? What do you plan to do? What do you want to do with your life, honestly? So that's what the career mapping is there, to kind of help you see light into what you want to do. Like, what do I want to gain from all of this? I don't just want to wake up one day and I'm 40 and I'm still a developer. The youngies at that time, the new generation will come and kick you off the radar and that's the end. So, I mean, that's actually why this career mapping is very important. So please just really, really take advantage of this. And just give me a minute. I just need to check the chat so that I do not miss anything out. Okay, API and Cypress application on QA. So I think that was from Esther's conversation. So APIs are application, hey, Abiola Razak, application programming interface. So see it this way. Let me give an example, very, very short example, so I don't waste your time. So you see it this way. MTN, we have MTN. So you know MTN has their code base that actually allow you buy and sell airtime, right? So why is it that you go on your banking application and you can click on MTN and you can actually buy MTN data? It's because those people have access to MTN APIs. So it's just like I have a code, right? I've written a code that can make you buy airtime, right? For instance, now all of this fintech application need my service, MTN service. All I need to just do is put all of my code in. What is that? Okay. Put all of my code in an API, something that does not review everything. So I don't need to carry my code, everything I've written, and now share everything with you. Security-wise, it is not smart. At the same time, it might be too bulky, right? So all I need to just do is give you some APIs. So the API is like a middleman. It's just that person that, okay, whenever you want to buy airtime, just call this guy. So multi people can call this API at the same time. So instead of multi people calling my own code, they are calling an API. So I give you access to this API. This person have access, that person have access, everybody have access, and they can connect to this middleman. So this API connects to my server, then you can connect to the API, something like that. So, but it's a different conversation entirely. For people that would have access to the one more training, don't worry, you get more training. All right, so I think I'll just go through everything fast. How soon can you get the recordings? I would try with the team. I think the team will try to see if you can upload the recordings on YouTube. So it's just accessible to you at any point. So yeah, I think that is that. Yeah, thank you so much. I can say a lot of thank you. I'm trying to. What's up with this Malik person? I keep muting you. You're muting, please, Obiko. I'm coming. Okay. Sorry, Malik. I think you really need to mute. Can a developer take a role as a tester? Yes, a developer can take a role as a tester. So, like that career projection that she explained, you don't necessarily have to move like from software testing to software testing to software testing. You can literally move from software testing to product management, software testing to DevOps, software testing to front-end engineer. You can literally move as much as you want. Okay? Don't worry, when you come for the career mapping class, we will talk better about it. Yeah, please, can you share link? Okay, let me just do that immediately so I do not forget. Don't worry, we also send it to your mail, so you can also be rest assured that you will get that. Okay, sorry, just give me a minute. Copy link. All right, so I'll drop it on the chat box now. Please let me know once you've seen it. So I dropped the link now. I wish I could pin it. A lot of chat already. Let me see if I can pin it. Can you pin this? Can you pin on? Can you pin? I don't know if you can pin. I wish you could pin. Okay, you can't pin here. I wish we could pin chat. I wish you could pin chat, but isn't the chat box already? It's in the chat box already. All right, I think it's over to Bami now. If you have any, okay, before I hand over to Bami because we want to close, we don't want to waste anybody's time, so we are trying to keep to time. So if you have any question, please just let me know in the chat box. Finally, before we hand over to Bami and we go. Oh, will there be a regular? So I mean, there might be another training some other time soon, but for now, we're just focused on the 1 month training that we are going to be offering to some people. Software test is different from tests that we do when we build API on certain. Oh, API testing is part of software testing. Yeah, there's no difference in software testing. Oh, someone said I asked similar question, but okay, so I just answered now. Is part of software test, API testing, software testing. So it's part of the process of test that you do when doing your software testing. So API testing, software testing, not the same thing. Like API testing is a type of testing. So yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I think that's that. Kwame, over to you.
Abisala.
Yeah, okay. Abiola. Ogechi.
Oh, yeah. I'm the one speaking. Thank you so much for this program. Yeah, I have a practical experience where, okay, so the PM from my organization, and sometimes I have headaches, with my developers, and then there's some buttons my clients complain about, this, that, software, we couldn't go through and all that. No, I'm having so much time getting those things fixed and all that. And I'm even thinking, why don't I change the software developer if he's not giving me my job done on, at the right time? Perhaps he doesn't, have the process to ensure that this testing are done, adequately or at the right time, because clients can't wait. So what do you advise at that instance?
Okay, so I think I will ask one question first. Do you have a tester on your team?
Yes, we do, but that I am also putting in place because I found out that the way it's been structured, the organization, outsource the stuff like the programming, the developers themselves, the team. So I don't really have access to them. Like, I have access in the sense that you just talk with them on the phone and all that. So you can't see them face to face. You can really know you really can, when you don't see someone face to face, you really can. The communication is not, it's not felt like that. So, and so we are not feeling the impact. We feel like these developers, they are too slow. Like, if you really need a feature to be done for like within 2 weeks, and then
I'll just mute the person. So please continue.
If you really need a feature, one of the features probably that wasn't working, or that was communicated to us that isn't working effectively, or probably you're doing a click in and then it's not, doing the normal thing, and then you wanted that to be, resolved, and you feel that, okay, this thing should be done within 2-3 weeks, and then you're finding yourself that it's going like 2 months, and like, I don't know what.
So let me just quickly attend to that so that we don't keep everyone waiting. One thing I would say is that, trust me, when it comes to product development, that hassle that happened between the developers and the product manager is real hassle, like real one. So I can really relate, because I'm not just being, like, I think I mentioned before that I've also like led a product team, led a product, not just as a QA, but as also a product manager for a product before. And I can tell you that the hassle is real. So 2 things I can say is that, number one, I think you need to make your tester your friend. Because I don't understand why you are the one, like, the defect is so glaring that it's getting to you. I mean, you are seeing it even before the tester is dragging the developer for it. So I think you need to like make friends with your tester first, because that's going to be like your savior, so to say. Because the tester will just ensure that they don't give you a headache. By the time you are seeing the done application, most of the critical things have been fixed. That's one. Then 2, I think another thing that can also help you when it comes to timeline, that back and forth, is also, I can say that, to be very honest, if you don't have a tester, it's a different conversation entirely. And I would have advised you on a different level. But so far you have a tester, that timeline is also important. So when a tester actually raises a defect, for instance, there is a timeline that should be agreed on for fixing defects. Now, for instance, when you say 2 months for fixing the defect, that's too much. Now, we can say it's too much, but I don't want to also underestimate the work the developers are also doing. So if you run a sprint, for instance, for people that don't understand, sprints are like, is an agile word for, okay, we are going to build something within a speculated period of time and all. So now let's say you are running a sprint of 2 weeks, for instance. If you're running a sprint of 2 weeks, you already gave the developers, as a product manager, you already told developers, this is what we want done within these 2 weeks. Now, if you already gave them those tasks, it's going to be quite difficult for them to drop it to fix the bug you found. So you need to find a middle ground with them. So if you're saying that, oh, we have this sprint and we already said we are doing XYZ. So if the bug is critical, you can ask them to add and prioritize that particular defect over every other thing that has been agreed on in their sprint. But if it is not so critical, allow them to finish what they are working on that particular sprint. And by the time you are planning the next sprint, that particular defect, prioritize it on the next sprint. And you know that perhaps by the end of the second week, the next sprint, they will be done with that particular defect. Now, if you are not already running sprints, I think this is like a callback, like you need to start running sprints, because to be honest, if you give developers their way, I know that, like you said, it was outsourced. Even if it is outsourced, because you are the product manager of that particular product, you can decide how the process would work. Now they can tell you that, oh, this is going to take me 3 days. That's a different thing. But you can decide the pace at which we take things. So instead of just leaving it to them, because to be honest, if you leave it to developers, if you leave the work to them, they can take 5 months to build something that could have been built in a week, to be very honest. So you need to take that agile process, very important. Like, oh, make sure that you actually split. If they have 100 things to do, don't allow them. They might say they'll do it. Don't worry, it's something I can do in a day. It's a lie. Next week, you are still on that thing that they promised that they can do in a day. Don't listen to them that way. Allow them run sprints. And sprints are like sprint reviews and all. At the end of each week, you can literally say, oh, we said this sprint is for 2 weeks. We want to do 4 things. How many things have we done? So you don't need to wait till the end of the sprint. So if anybody is slacking, you can easily drag them by their beards or by their shirts or by their blouse and say, oh yeah, you said we are going to deliver this. What is the problem? What is stopping us from getting this thing done? It actually makes your life easier. It saves you from headache, and it makes things work smooth. It even allow you to roll out in the market easy. Because I mean, imagine them fixing one bug for 2 weeks. For a month, when do you want to roll out? The market is moving already. So I mean, so make your tester your friend. Make sure that you're running sprint. And I mean, also ensure that even while you're running sprint, you don't add new things into the sprint, because it defeats the whole purpose. If it's not a critical bug, wait till the next sprint. If it is a critical, prioritize it, but also know that the fact that you are prioritizing that, it would affect the deliverables at the end of that particular sprint. I hope I was able to help in that way.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Okay, Bambi, over to you. It's already 12:06. I'm so sorry that we took 6 minutes out of your time, but I hope that you found it very insightful. All right, Bambi, thank you very much. Over to you.
Wow, that's a very, very long one, and it was so informative. Thank you very much, Abiola, and thank you, Esther. Thank you, Ayomide. That was amazing. Abiola has been to has come to speak to my community before, and I remember then, so she's always emphasizing on quality over, when you're like doing your testing, it is important to put in the quality first. And knowing that the 3 speakers actually mentioned that, I can imagine the importance of putting quality into your software testing. So please, again and again, let's give them all a clap. Thank you. They are the idons of software testing. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's been an amazing time, and yeah, okay, cool. And I think we are settled for the day. And please follow SheCode Africa.
I'm sorry, I've been raising my hands up.
Who is it? Josephine?
Yes.
Do you have
Can
a
I
question?
go ahead, please?
Okay.
So my hands have been up for a while. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, but then the timing. But I think Abiola can still take one more question. So you can go ahead. It's 8 minutes past.
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort. The session was really insightful, and I thank She Code Africa and the Buck detective team. So my question, just a very quick one. When it comes to working as a QA or as a software tester, are there any kind of legal document or legal transaction you go with the company? If, for instance, you're a third party QA, if okay, just the way we have it in cybersecurity, as if you're outsourcing, you want to maybe carry out let's say a standard, like we call it ISO standard, for instance, PCI DSS for credit card standardization. Is there any kind of legal documentation you write, for instance, in the exposure of maybe if for instance the software you're about to test has been on production level, that it's been in use, then at a point as a company you decide to run software testing on it. So is there any kind of legal documents you should, or you think organizations sign with this tester or the company they're outsourcing this project to?
Yeah.
Or the task to? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine. Abiola, can you quickly answer that in like 2 minutes?
Okay, yeah, I'll try to pick it right up. So 2 things, yeah. So number 1, it depends if you are just a freelancer or if you are under a company. So for instance, for TBD, that's the Bug Detective, we also render testing services. So there are some certification that we have to take around data breach and all, because we are actually dealing with customers' data, the company data and all. But if you're a freelancer, just a tester, what you just need to do, but maybe all those non-disclosure thingy you sign with the company and or you don't necessarily need any of those ISOs and or that's like the company you're working for's headache to bear with. Then another thing I would also say is that for testers, we also have our own documentation, not necessarily certification. What did you say?
I think she said that answers it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
So thank you everyone once again for staying put till this time, and apologies for taking a little bit of your time. So once again, I was saying that kindly go to all socials and follow She Code Africa on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and you can do so with the Bug Detective too. The details is right there. So again, thank you everyone for all the efforts that was put into this, and see you next time. Enjoy your weekend. Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for the insightful session. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, please don't forget to tell us on social media how you enjoyed this session. I mean, just talk about it on social media. Tag She Code Africa, tag the Bug Detective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Abiola. Please, I already paid